Yo, Gail Simone is in her bag once again because we are in Age of Revelation, but we are talking Unbreakable X-Men #1, man. The grief of Gambit and the heroics of Rogue. Yo, what are we waiting on? Roll that intro, cuss. Yeah. What's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earthsmack the Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media Channel. Again, we are talking about Unbreakable X-Men #1, man. One thing I would say about Gail Simone, she has consistently been in her bag when it comes to the Louisiana faction of the X-Men. This takes place 7 years into the future of Age of Revelation. Now, and I do like the fact that it's kind of is away from all the extra stuff that's going on, like with the Amazing X-Men and all the other stuff. So I think that what got me really invested in this story. So you definitely want to stick around to the end of this video because I would give you my personal review on Unbreakable X-Men. So let's get into it. So Unbreakable X-Men, like I said earlier, takes place 7 years from now at Haven House in Haven, Louisiana. And Rogue goes on to say he's coming. He's coming right for us. And you see someone that is a familiar face, and this is Temper. Now, Temper is in adjectiveless X-Men, but again, a lot has happened within that 7-year time period. We don't know what exactly happened, but we do know there is a little bit of a romance between Ransom of the Louisiana X-Men and Temper of the Alaska X-Men. But Temper says, why target us, Rogue? Like, why not the Avengers or whatever the hell is left of the Fantastic Four these days? And Ransom like, he's not after us, Temper. He must want Shuvarok. Now, Shuvarok is from the Dark Artery storyline. It's like a 4-part series in Uncanny X-Men. It's an amazing story. If you have not read it, I highly encourage you guys to go read Uncanny X-Men, the Dark Artery saga. Now, so Spider-Girl goes on to say, we can't let him have her, right? Didn't you say she has the power to enslave the world? Dome, I think this is your call. You're the last of the St. Juniors in your house. And Dome says, I can't look at him all at once. I don't know what to do, Spider-Girl. I just don't know. Now, one thing you gotta know about Dome was the little girl in Uncanny X-Men. Like, she was the one, she's basically the youngest daughter that was going to school with the Outliers. But it goes on to say, Rogue music. So Rogue says, that makes all of us, Chelsea. And she's like, Remy, you still with us? He's like, guess so, my one above all. Know when, as a little showy in the swamp, the rain here always good to me, cleansing like a smile from God Almighty. And then you see Galactus. That is who they're talking about. Now, the thing is, the Outliers never really had a big run-in with Galactus. Honestly, they were like ground roots, like ground level X-Men, like handling things that's around Louisiana territory. So to see an entity like Galactus got to be frightening. And because of the simple fact that when the Galactus shows up to a location, it's going to be chaos. Like, there's going to be death. Like, he's just hungry. That's just what he is. He's going to eat some worlds. So that's what it is. So from that standpoint, Rogue goes and say, I've seen Galactus before a few times. It's a miserable experience being paralyzed with fear. Ransom, you're the leader. Is it fight or flight? Is it what's good? It's what you're good at, so lead us. So Ransom says there are 1,000 tormented living in the underground city of Penumbra and a cosmic mutant guarding them who hates all living things. Temper says if he sets them all free, the tormented will rip all mutant kind to shreds. They're like, guys, I think I'm too scared to think. And Ransom's like, what if we set Shuvarok free? And Temper was like, you can't mean that. Like, those two at war? And Rogue goes on to say, I got an alternative plan. Y'all go, I will stay. And Remy says, no way in hell. She's like, Remy, the young ones, they got a whole ass life ahead. And there's the baby. Go, please. And Remy says, I've been with a lot of you. And one thing I know for sure, y'all ain't bang as following orders. Chelsea, can you make a dome to stop that thing for a spell? And there's a little bit of a overpowering situation going on between Dome and Galactus, and what she says makes sense. She's like, I can try, but I don't know if I can hold him. And he's like, Butterscotch, all I got is some cards and a stick. Can you try, please? So Ransom was like, okay, so what have we got that he might hate? We have 2 energy absorbers. He's all about energy. If the rest can slow him down. And Rogue says, got it, slow him down, take him out. And immediately after that, she embraces Remy and gives him a kiss. And she says, don't go underestimating the power of that stick, Cajun. And like, you come back. That is the only thing I want you to do is come back. It's up to Galactus, and he says, he's ignoring me like I'm not even here. Or like it don't matter what I'm here. What is it that he wants? And he speaks, and he says, I need a new herald. He's like, holy crap on toast. It's talking at me. Like, do you mean Chivalrak? He's like, nah, not the mouth of darkness. I need her. And he points at Dome. He's like, do not resist. Here, she is nothing. As my herald, the universe is hers. And Rogue says, I beg to differ, Devourer of Worlds. She's never been nothing because she's family. Now, here's what he don't know. At that point, she did the most amazing thing. She touched Galactus, and she says, I've been getting stronger as an age. The reverse of entropy, I guess. So see, all I always did is hold a little something back. Not this time. I've been lucky, but I know I ain't gonna survive this. And I'm sorry, Remy. At that point, she literally puts this man to sleep. But honestly, that pretty much takes Rogue's life. Now that's where Remy comes in. That's where Remy muses to himself, because Remy is dealing with grief. Now, one thing before I jump even further is that we have for 30 plus years know about the love history between Remy and Anna Marie. Know about Gambit and Rogue. And one thing we know about Gambit, he loves himself some Rogue. And so when they finally tied a knot and they finally got a little bit of shred of happiness, and you fast forward to the Age of Revelation where everything seems bleak, for him to lose Rogue, which is the opposite of what X-Men 97 did, because Remy lost his life and Rogue was dealing with that grief. But here in the comics, Remy is dealing with that grief that Rogue is no longer with him. So it goes on to say, I don't mean it like a poet. You need to understand that. Everyone came for the wake, and of course they did. It was for Anna Marie. With time, my eyesight started to go sour, and people came to visit less, and I went sour too. I know I ain't no kind of fit company. I want to laugh. I want to be Gambit again. I just plumb forgot how. It's time every night, round 9, I talk with her. I can't see her no more, and I know they all worry, but even 3 years later, it's only time I feel less broken. Hello, Cher. And you see a giant statue of Rogue as Galactus. So what happened here, when she absorbed Galactus, she is basically absorbed all that energy, and eventually she passed away, or that's what we led to think. Now, from that standpoint, she says, my beautiful wife, I can't see anymore. My once-in-a-lifetime passion, I can't touch. I am forgetting what her laughter sounded like. So she stands here unmovable, a 60-foot tall statue in my backyard. No heartbeat, no brain activity. She's dead, I know that, but she's also still here. Friends done told me to move on, and I asked them, how? And he says, you remembered. Only thing keeps me going some days. On my blackest days, I wish we never done met. I'd be alone, but I wouldn't have this hole inside me. Someday, maybe soon. He said, I don't say the darkest thing, not out loud, but that I just waiting for a day when I can lay my burden down. Ain't stop running against the wind. That blessed day when we together again. I'm so tired, darling wife. Feel like I'm at the bottom of the ocean somehow, which leads on to at the bottom of the ocean where you got the Atlanteans. Now, this, you ever wonder where Galactus was? Galactus is at the bottom of the sea, and he's covered up with algae and all kinds of sea life, and the Atlanteans are checking on him periodically to make sure he doesn't wake up, and he's been down for 1,000 days. Rogue was able to put this man down. So that goes to a testament of how powerful Rogue actually is. Now, even at the behest of her life, she was able to take down Galactus solo. So this goes on to the next part where Henrietta of the Dark Artery, y'all got to read Dark Artery, she shows up. And she says, the guardian of the Dark Artery, she never leave her post. Can't see her, but I feel her here. Like roses on a grave, is she? He like, Miss Henrietta? And she says, Remy, I'm so sorry for your loss. We have a special spot for Miss Rowe when she is ready, surrounded by obsidian. It's as beautiful as she was. I'm afraid I am not fully presentable. I don't socialize much, and I fear I am not fit for indoors. And Gambit, being the Southern hospitality person that he is like, Adi, would you go to my room and pick something from my wife's armoire? Oui. And something's pretty please. And she says, as you all know, the memorial grounds are guard the Dark Artery. They also guard a terrible place just below, where a monster, a god, really, watches over the unliving humans who betrayed the mutants in their own family. Suvarak, she's been a slumber the past few years. Something awakened her. I fear I lack the strength to hold her, and she's angry. And Remy muses, we all knew this would happen someday. She'll run up my spine like the touch of death. Now, from that standpoint, the people, the unliving humans that were being watched over by Suvarak made it out, and they attacked the Haven House. Now, put a pin in that for a second. Now, what you got to know about this, the Dark Artery is for people that are living in peace, like for mutants and stuff like that. But underground, there's these unliving humans. Like, okay, if you think about Anna Marie, you think about Rogue and how her parents treated her, especially her father. 9 times out of 10, he's amongst them because he's the one who actually sold their family out because they were simply mutants. And that was just a place worse than hell, really, where Suvarak actually keeps them. So from that standpoint, we go into this battle between the X-Men and these unliving humans. And he says, already doing it. No, you go near her, you look her way, Gambit, bury all of you for real. And she tells the rest of the X-Men, you all stay, protect the boy. I have to go. I have to be with her. And they're like, Remy, no. He like, suffer your turn, burn the giant, break the spirit. So technically speaking, they're going after the statue of Rogue, and Gambit is not having none of that. And he says, I heard them crawling in the dirt. Only Gambit knows something they don't seem to realize. Hey, Dellins, we outside now, and you can all go straight to hell. See, Remy wasn't going out there to sacrifice himself. Remy was going out there because he needed room to do what he does best and be the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He had to go out there and take care of the unlimited humans. Now, he muses, he says, I wanted to join you, wife. Now I see why I was left behind. Whole world gone to dirt. Suvarak trying to get loose. I can't let that happen. With my last breath, I going to stop her. Then I come be with you forever. Now, they actually made a monument called Unbreakable. Hence the term Unbreakable X-Men. Now, I got to give you my personal review of Unbreakable X-Men. First of all, I got to shout out like Gail Simone on what she was able to do with Uncanny X-Men, and then gravitates over to Unbreakable X-Men. I feel like how she was able to understand each of these characters, especially in the setting of Louisiana. I know eventually they will go back to the mansion, but I don't want to see that quite yet. Hold off on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there's adjectiveless X-Men and then there's Uncanny X-Men. And I can honestly say out of the two, I really do like Uncanny X-Men. I do like the Southern charm of it. I do like the love between Remy and Anna Marie, and like everything is coming to fruition. Like they're looking after kids, and there's a lot of banter between the kids and them growing into their own, because you get to be attached to the outliers. And I'm telling you, if you have not read Uncanny X-Men, you got to go out there and read Uncanny X-Men, man. You will not be disappointed, especially with the Dark Artery situation. That is really, really good. Like Gail Simone is still doing her damn thing. All right, still doing her damn thing. Grade A storytelling. And I remember what I said on Saturday Morning Comics when I said, yeah, I might not be reading any of the Age of Revelation stuff, but there are a few of them that I definitely will be reading. And Unbreakable X-Men is definitely one of them. Binary is the other, and Rogue Storm is the other one. Mainly because it kind of like separate from like the main stuff that's going on, but these stories are just as great, and I cannot wait to finish out Unbreakable X-Men and then Gail Simone jump back on Uncanny X-Men. Just can't wait. And again, if you have not read Unbreakable X-Men, if you have not read Uncanny X-Men, the Gail Simone run, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You're doing yourself a disservice. Go out there, take your ass out there to your LCS, go get you that Uncanny X-Men run. You gotta go out there and get that thing. But you ought to know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. And when you hit that notification bell, make sure you hit that drop down menu and it says all, okay? That way you get notified on all of our content, whether it's live or recorded. So, till next time, y'all. Peace.